After the champagne toast, we have to eat, right? Here's a recipe that will warm you up and maybe it could bring you some luck. Check out this week's Brittany's Bites.
Welcome to 2022, everyone. We made it into the new year, and maybe we want to make some new resolutions, maybe bring ourselves some luck. So one thing I thought of is black-eyed peas. I know it's a tradition for many people to eat it on New Year's Day. I know it's January 2nd and we're a day late, but if it can bring us some good luck, we all need a little bit of that right now, right? And I've never really done that. But I thought this year I'm gonna try something with black-eyed peas. I didn't really know what to do. I looked up a couple of recipes. I saw some things called Hopping John. I saw Texas caviar. This is a little bit different. I think it's a Mediterranean type dish, so we're gonna try it this way and see how it works and maybe bring ourselves some luck, right? So I just have a big pot over here heating up. I'm gonna put in a couple of glugs of olive oil, as they say. Get that going. Thankfully that's already warm. And then to the pot, I'm gonna add onions. This is just one chopped yellow onion. Yep, I couldn't remember at first if I did a white or a yellow. I did a yellow, but you can use whatever you have on hand. So we've got an onion in there. We just wanna saute an onion and some garlic just to get it going before we add in a couple of other things. So, you know, you always wanna be careful to not burn your garlic, because if you do, your whole dish is ruined, right? So this is 4 cloves of garlic crushed. Gonna put it right in here. Yeah, a lot of garlic in this dish, but we want it to taste great. Okay, and I get that stirred up. Now we're just gonna let this saute for a minute or two and then add in our next things, and that would be our green pepper and carrots. Okay, things are looking pretty good over here with the onion and the garlic. So next I have 1 green bell pepper, nicely chopped up here. This dish comes together very quickly. It's mostly the prep work that will take you some time. So I've got my green pepper there. And then next I have 3 carrots, and I of course peeled them and then chopped those off up as well. So once we get these in here, we're gonna cook this for another several minutes or so before we add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so you really want to cook those peppers and the carrots for about 5 more minutes after you got the onions and the garlic started. But for the sake of moving things along, we're gonna move forward with the rest of the recipe here. And so here come lots of other ingredients. Okay, so we have a can of crushed tomatoes. You could use diced tomatoes. I think that's what one of the recipes I saw called for, but I don't particularly love the texture, so I'm going with crushed tomatoes. 1 can. Again, whatever you have on hand is probably just fine. And then I have 2 cups of stock. You can absolutely use water. I'm using veggie stock. You can use chicken stock. Hey, use beef stock, whatever you have on hand. Put that in there. And then we're gonna do some spices. Okay, so a bay leaf. That'll give us some nice flavor. Stick 1 in there. Then we're gonna do a 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. This is one of my absolute favorite spices. Love this. So I have a 1/2 teaspoon here, so 3, right? For 1.5 total. It's a lot of cumin, but it's okay, I love it. So we're gonna sort of step it down from 1.5, and then we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of oregano. Got that in there. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna be bringing that up to a boil, so I hurried up and turned up the heat there. And then stepping it down to just a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. You can do as many red pepper flakes as you want. I love spice, so I'm gonna do a lot. You can just do a sprinkle. I think I'm gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon. That's quite a lot. And then some salt and pepper, of course. Fresh ground pepper while that's all coming to a boil, and then also some salt. And that is basically all of it except the key part, right? So what we wanna do is bring this up to a boil, and then we're gonna add our 2 cans of black-eyed peas. And then it just is a matter of cooking it, and then you're done. Okay, this black-eyed peas stew, I guess we'll call it, is just starting to boil over here. So we're gonna add the actual black-eyed peas now. So again, it's just 2 cans, 15 ounces or so of these black-eyed peas, and you definitely want to rinse and drain them. So I have them ready to go. I'm just gonna carefully put them in here. And then once I add them in, we'll talk about what's next. Okay, that looks great. Now, by the way, if you feel like it doesn't have enough sauce, you can add a little water, add a little bit more stock to it at this point. But now that it's been brought to a boil and we've added those in, we're gonna bring it back to a boil for just a moment, and then we're gonna turn the heat down and let it stew for about 20 to 30 minutes. We're gonna put a lid on as well, which I'll grab down here, and put it halfway because we don't want it to be on all the way. We want to give it time to, or room to breathe, so to speak, as well. So 20 to 30 minutes, and then we're all done. We're just going to top it with one more thing to give it a little extra oomph, and then we're done with our black-eyed peas. Okay, everything's been cooking in there for about 20-25 minutes or so. So we're going to give it a little check. It's looking very good. Yeah, it's cooked down a little bit. And hopefully everything that should be softened is. We can probably take this bay leaf out now as well. And then we're gonna add one more thing, the juice of a lemon. Now this is a pretty big lemon, so I think I'm just gonna do half and just squeeze it in there. I just love how lemon juice brightens everything up. And then that is all there is to it. You can give it a taste, see if you want to add a little more salt or any more seasoning. And if you don't like it to be cooked down this much, again, as the process is going, you could add in more liquid. But for our purposes, we are ready to go. So we're just going to scoop some out. Very yummy. Now you can serve this over rice or you can serve it just like a stew. There we have it. We want to bring ourselves good luck in the new year, right? And if this is a little way we can do it, why not? Here is our black-eyed pea stew. Cheers.
And Brittany is always looking for new ideas. If you have a recipe to share, you can send it to her by texting 614-460-3345.